Hi everyone, it's me Darlene. I am back with my Scrappy strip quilt series. If you're not familiar with this series, there's a playlist link in the description of this video and also on the end screen. I left off having pieced more of these strip sets, and I included some of these novelty pieces and a salvage. I just measured and I have way more than what I was hoping to have, like maybe 40 to 45 inches. I'm going to go 45, but I have more than that here because I wasn't counting on, these bigger, wider pieces at the beginning. But that's okay. Anything that's left over might go into another part of this quilt or another quilt or my crumb box. So nothing has been wasted. I want to make a long strip now. We have choices. We can make the whole long strip and cut the whole strip. I don't like that idea because you have to fold and then you're cutting through a lot of seams, and there's wiggle room for maybe not cutting it perfectly straight because you have folds, and if you don't cut straight when there's a fold, you get an elbow. So I don't like that. I'm going to piece maybe like this long, like I'll put at least two more like this, and maybe like this. Then I can just cut with my ruler, and I'm going to cut whatever I can cut. Now you have to measure and see, what do you have? I'm going to use my ruler. Now like this piece, it steps up a little bit, so I can go only from here to the yellow, so that's about like that. So I'm looking at maybe 4.5. That's probably what I can get all around on every strip. I think 4.5 is probably going to be my number. I could probably do 4 3/4. I'll try 4 3/4. And but let me put these together first, a few of those, and then I have to pick the order that I want these flowery things, and I'll be right back. I sewed together 2 there and 2 there, and I've got a few like this, but I'm just going to wait like that to see if I need them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim, and I guess I'll look at each piece first to see if I can get 4 3/4. 1 2 3 4 3/4. No, cutting it too close there. There's a curve. So we're going with 4.5. So I'm going to just put this on a line. See, this is curved, and that's okay because it will be straight when I trim. I kept saying cut, but trim. When I trim, it'll be straight. And I'm going to show you at the machine how to keep your row straight by sewing pieces together. I really think it works better than making a whole long strip, folding that over and trying to trim that. I don't like that idea at all. So I have 4.5 easily there. Where's my ruler? Now where's my cutter? 1 2 3 4.5. Lovely, lovely. Now you can see this is at an angle here because I cut straight this way. And that's okay. I'll show you at the machine. I'll be able to show you an example of what I'm talking about. So 4.5. Let me just cut the other pieces off camera. I have these pieces trimmed. Another reason you would not probably want to sew the entire strip together before trimming is because then it's going to be hard to know what you can trim down to. This was easy. I was able to lay each one of these down and say, yeah, I can get 4.5 out of this. Now let's go to the machine. Okay, here's how to sew straight rows. You might think that you need to put this to this, match that up. You might think you need to go like this and match those edges. But look, that would be crooked because our strips get wonky. So what you're doing is, now that they're nicely trimmed to whatever you trimmed, mine are 4 3/4, you're going to match the edges. Now you want to get a little bit, close here, but you're matching up this edge nice and straight, this edge nice and straight. So now you look here, I'm going to show you. this is crooked. You can maybe put a pin if you want and go trim and just trim straight down so you know where to sew, or you could eyeball it. I'm pretty good at eyeballing. But what I'm going to do is I'll go trim. I'm going to put this straight edge on a line, and then I'm going to come in and I'll just start here and I'll trim down. Trimmed this, and now I can just use this straight edge. Again, I'm pretty good at eyeballing. I could have just done a straight line even though my fabric was crooked. The edges were crooked, but we're good. You know, this is not likely to shift. These are nice and even. Just going to do 1/4 of an inch all the way down. And, you know, if your stitching is off a little bit, it's going to give that elbow effect again. But don't be too concerned. Look, this is pretty straight. This is nice. So I have this novelty piece in this and this one. Now I'm going to grab another strip. I have this one next. And again, I'm going to lay it down, and I'm going to make sure my sides, these edges, are even. And let me bring it down to see if I need to trim this one. This one's only off by a little bit. But just for the hell of it, I'm going to go trim. I kind of liked that. I trimmed. This is so cool. I'm loving this. Now I have my piece that has the selvage, and I'm going to do the same thing. Line up these edges a little bit this way. I don't know. I think I can eyeball this. I think I did good. I'm going to go measure, and then I'll see if I have to add anything. I just added another piece, and I'm at 43 inches right now. I think I'll just leave it like that. I have some pieces left over, so if I want 45, I won't be going to more than 45 because the width of the fabric is never even usually 45. But if I need extras for whatever reason, I have some. So I'm just going to hang on to those. I'm going to go press this open and show you. Here it is, and I love it for many reasons. It has a lot of stuff going on that we like. They're wonky. We have a selvage. We have some novelty pieces. We used scraps. I'm so happy with this. Now, I am not going to put any sashing between the rows at this point because I don't even know what I want yet, and I don't know the order that I'm going to have the rows. But after a little bit, I mean, like, I know I would not want this at the top or the bottom, because after they're connected and with the sashing and stuff, this is going to be down to like 4 inches tall, and I'd rather have that tucked in the middle somewhere. I'm going to keep my extra pieces. This ended up 43 inches. And what I'm thinking is, if I add anything now, I would add something a little bit wider, because then that would allow me to trim and not little narrow strips. But I'm going to just leave it as is. I'm going to put the extra pieces that I had, these guys, I'm going to just put them with this, and I'll know that that belongs to that row. I certainly don't need this many, but I can pick and choose what I would want. And I guess I'm going to call it a day for this one. Now I get to plan the next row, and I'm very excited to do that. Please subscribe so you don't miss any of this series, and I'll be back with more soon. Bye!